Good morning. Today I'm going to do my best to answer a frequently asked question. Which yoga mat should I use? It's a really good question, and I'll do my best to answer. But first, disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. I'm not an agent of, nor am I hired by any particular yoga mat or yoga mat creating entity. I'm just a guy who's been using yoga mats of different sizes and shapes and materials for roughly 20 or so years. So I'll do my best to answer. Which type of yoga mat should I use? Okay, in my personal opinion, based on tons of experience, my favorite yoga mat is made by a company called Manduka, Manduka. I'll put the link in the comments below, Manduka. Now the story is, it's probably back around 2004 or 2005, and I was using a regular yoga mat. I don't know how else to describe it, just simple, regular yoga mat that I probably purchased from Target or somewhere along those lines. Perfectly valid yoga mat. And I was at a workshop, and one of the students said, "Hey, try this yoga mat." And for me, it seemed insane because Mandukas at the time were about $100, and I just couldn't see purchasing a $100 yoga mat. Well, that day I tried the Manduka, and I purchased a Manduka that day at that yoga studio. I've had the same yoga mat for about 14 years now. It's still in great shape. The Manduka, I believe it's called the Classic Black Mat. It's a little bit thicker than a conventional yoga mat. It's definitely more durable than a conventional yoga mat, and it has lasted 14 years, and it still looks great and it still works great. So if you have the money and you want to purchase the last yoga mat you'll ever purchase, provided you don't lose it, I would recommend Manduka. You can check out their website, and they now have tons and tons of different variations of mats that are just as durable. They're a little bit lighter. They come in different colors and stuff. So that would be my first recommendation, would be Manduka. The second recommendation would be just a regular old yoga mat, the kind that I used for a really long time. You can get them at Target, you can get them at Marshall's, you can get them pretty much anywhere. So they're lightweight, they're totally valid, completely acceptable. The downside could be they won't last too long. You may go through a few conventional yoga mats over the years, depending on how often you practice, etc., etc. So you may go through several conventional yoga mats over the years versus purchasing one higher end mat like a Manduka. So truly, just any old regular yoga mat is fine. Now, the third and final mat that I'll talk about, in general, I do not recommend, unless there's a specific medical or clinical reason why you would need to have this type of mat. And that yoga mat is the thick, squishy sort of mat. I think sometimes they're marketed as Pilates mats, or they might be marketed as fitness mats or stretch mats or something like that. If it's really thick and spongy, it might feel better when you lie down at the end of practice, or it might feel better when you sit down during practice. But it creates a very unstable surface. So when you're doing standing poses and balancing poses, you could be working 2 to 3 to 4 times harder just to stand up. And in the context of a yoga class, that's not the goal. The goal is not necessarily to make triangle pose super challenging just to keep your balance. The students who come to Winter Garden Yoga know triangle is challenging enough without trying to maintain your balance on a wobbly surface. So if there's a reason, a true, clear medical reason why you need to use a squishy mat, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it, but you need to understand that some of the other postures could be 2 to 3 times harder just because you're trying to maintain your balance while you're trying to do just a conventional yoga practice. Okay, so which mat should you use? In my opinion, number one, something from Manduka. I'll put the link in the comments below. Number two, just a regular old yoga mat you can get anywhere. Marshall's, Target, Amazon.com. It's just a regular old yoga mat. Number three, with caution, depending on why you may have to use a mat, I would not use the thick, squishy, rubbery types of yoga mats. Okay, I hope that helps. If it did, let me know in the comments below. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns you'd like me to address, please put them in the comments as well. Awesome. Go forth and have a great day.